Hey there, it's Aadit from Ditto Labs, and today we're going to be looking at programming. So whether you're new to coding or looking to brush up on the basics, this is the right place to look. So let's get started. First things first, what is programming? Programming is, in simple terms, layman's terms, is just a set of instructions given to a computer using a certain programming language. You've probably heard of like Python, Java, C++. All those are valid programming languages, and the computer can understand those. I'll go into further depth how the computer can understand that in the future, but right now, we'll stick to that basic definition of programming. So, here's an example to help you visualize that. Right? Let's say you have a cake, right? And a cake you need to have a recipe to make a cake. So basically, all we're doing in programming is writing that recipe, giving the computer step-by-step instructions on how to bake a cake, or really anything, make a game, anything. In the next section of this, I'm going to be explaining to you how to get started with programming, set up stuff, and get ready to actually program. Hello, so today we're going to be downloading an IDE and a Python. So as I've already talked to you, programming is pretty fun, but to actually do programming, we need an IDE. So an IDE is a really simple thing. It's called an integrated development environment, and simply all it does is it allows developers and coders and game developers, all of them, to write code and actually interact with the computer. And the programming language that we're going to be using is called Python. Python is really versatile and really useful, and it's used in machine learning, AI, and many other things. It's very useful. So first thing we're going to be doing is opening Google, like I have right here, and we're going to go to the official Python download site. So that's just going to be python.org. Good, see? And now we're going to go to download. So we're going to go download this for the Mac. It's just going to detect immediately what OS you're using. So this is the OS I'm using. I'm using Mac OS. But if you're using Windows, Linux, it'll all work. So first we download. So we download the installer, and immediately you'll see that we have this. We have this. So it'll give us the Python installer, everything. You won't see much. You'll go continue, agree, install. So I'm not gonna install it, but if once you have the stage, you just install it and you're done. All right. So then go back. So I'm just gonna X out of this, and we're gonna go to Google Chrome. All right. So now that you have Python downloaded, we can just go to Visual Studio Code. Studio Code download. Just search it up. You'll see this Visual Studio Code, and download it for the OS that you want. I won't download it myself because it's a lot of stuff, but download it for the one you want. And then once we have that, we open Visual Studio Code. So without an extension, we're just using a dud, and we'll have to use the terminal. So you do that, but that's not gonna work in the long run. So the first thing you gotta do is search up Python, okay, in the extensions thing. Once you get into Visual Studio Code, since just and then I'll uninstall it for you, and then install it, and boom, it's installing. Everything will install with it, a debugger and a few other things, and boom, Python is now installed. So now you can just we're gonna make a new file. We're gonna make a new folder. So open folder. What do you want this folder to be called? So we're gonna name it. Here we will open a folder. So just make a folder. Just make any folder, and that should work. So I will open a folder that I have on my Mac. It's called Python. Aptly names. Huh. Well, let's see. Python. Python is really useful. Like, it's used in almost everything right now. Have you ever heard of machine learning? I'll make a video about machine learning in the future, but machine learning uses Python extensively. Here we go. So let's open this one. This is my folder. Yes, I trust the author. It's me. So first thing we're going to do is just make a new file. So make a new file. It'll say text file here, and just say type Python, and it should work for you. If it doesn't, I'll leave a email address, and you can send any problems that you have to me. And now you have Visual Studio Code working and up and running. So now we're going to start using this to actually start running code. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is we're actually going to uh, code a really simple program. Okay, so we have something in Python. There's something called the terminal. So it'll print out stuff for us. But how do you print stuff? How do you show text to the user? Really simple. Use something called print. I know it's so simple. And you put parentheses. So print is a function like object, and all you have to do is put this function inside of here. So print, what do we want to print? So let's do the most cliche thing on the planet. Hello world. And in a future video, I'll tell you what this is called a string, and is a kind of variable. It's kind of value for a variable. The other variables are integers, floats, and a few other things. I'll go into more depth with that in the future. But this is print hello world. So let's save this. What should I name it? I should name it. Uh, you know, what we're gonna do? We're gonna name it Ditto Lab. Ditto. Save. So now we have ditto.py. And now, once we run this, it should print hello world. There we go. You see? So this is just the beginning of programming. This is one of the most simple programs you can ever write. And I'm excited to go further with this. So let's go.